return average. He had a 98-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in their victory over Texas A&M, their biggest win of the season. Good kickoff by Liam Boyd, about 3 yards deep, and Smith decided not to try it. So here comes Van Dyke, the junior from Glastonbury, Connecticut. Big guy, 6'4", 230. Unlike Drake Maye, not particularly mobile. He's had a very good year. At 72.6%, he is leading the ACC in completion percentage, and had thrown only 1 interception in the first 4 games before he threw 3 last week.
He's extremely accurate, throws the ball out on time, and has a great feel for the new offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson's system. Part of the reason why Dawson's here is because he knew that Van Dyke would be a perfect fit for this style of attack.
They've had an excellent year on offense. It is Henry Parrish, part of a stable of running backs. He's ahead for 5. He's their leading rusher for the season. Power Eccles made the tackle. We'll see him in on a lot of stops tonight. He and Cedric Gray, one of the best linebacking duos in the country. They're 2 leading tacklers. Pressure from behind on Van Dyke. He got it off, and a nice catch. Jacoby George for a Miami first down, so a good start. That one goes to the 41-yard line for a pickup of 11. It was Desmond Evans who applied the pressure.
And both these defenses do a great job generating pressure, an issue that was really painful for North Carolina last year. Gene Chizik, the defensive coordinator, has really addressed it, but they're going to have to rush the passer excellent tonight, because if Van Dyke has time back there, he will eat you alive throwing it down the field.
Given plenty of time by a much improved offensive line. Now he takes off running and runs into contact at the 44-yard line on the Carolina sideline. Ran into the cornerback, Marcus Allen. And the players separated along the near sideline. Miles Murphy, the defensive end, ran him out.
And you look at Marcus Allen, he might have kind of taken the biggest hit of the bunch there. A little friendly fire between Miles Murphy, who kind of took out his own cornerback. Of course, Murphy only about 140 pounds bigger than his corner, so I would imagine that Marcus Allen might feel that one tomorrow.
And you can't afford injuries at corner. It's one of their biggest concerns, depth at that position. Van Dyke, 3rd-year starter. The handoff to Parrish. Bang down after a gain of 2. Kamen Rucker and Power Eccles on the tackle for Gene Chizik, the defensive coordinator for North Carolina, leading a much improved unit. He said after last year, I need to be much more aggressive in my game calling, and he has been. Three-receiver bunch to the right on 3rd down and 5. Van Dyke threw in that direction a little too high for Xavier Restrepo, their leading receiver, and 2nd in the ACC with 36 catches behind only Malik Washington of Virginia.
And that's a play they run all the time, just a little option route on the outside. Restrepo is without question their best option route runner, but man, that's a long throw for Van Dyke. As you can see, it's just off the extended fingertips of Restrepo, and I'm not sure he would have gotten it anyways. He was a couple yards short of the sticks.
Elijah Huzzy back for the punt from Dylan Joyce. Both punters tonight are from Australia. That's not unusual in today's college football. And it's down at the 12-yard line, a 42-yard punt. So here comes Drake Maye in Carolina on offense. He's 3rd in total yards per game. He's 4th in passing yards per game at just under 326.
He is amazing, and just really is the engine that makes this whole train go, and he's going to need some help tonight from his offensive line. This Miami defense is extremely athletic. They move on almost every snap, so Drake Maye understands he's probably going to take some hits tonight. He's got to be decisive, and when the opportunities are there to run, he's got to take advantage of it.
They open in the pistol with Omarion Hampton, the running back. There is pressure immediately. That might be a general. And now they rule it an incomplete forward pass. It was to Corey Couch, who was coming on a safety blitz. So just as you said, Greg, coming after Drake Maye right away.
Yeah, new defensive coordinator Lance Guidry, he will just throw the kitchen sink at you defensively. I would imagine they'll pressure on at least half of the defensive snaps tonight and try to make Drake Maye very, very uncomfortable back there in the shotgun.
6'4", 230. Drake Maye has everything you'd want in a quarterback. From the Charlotte area, Myers Park High School, he threw a sinker and it's incomplete. Trying to get it to J.J. Jones. They were without Kobe Paysor tonight. There's Lance Guidry, the defensive coordinator in his first year, came over from Marshall. Kobe Paysor, an important part of the wide receiver rotation for Carolina, broke his foot in practice on Tuesday and will not play, perhaps not for the rest of the year.
And that's a big loss too, because Tez Walker's come back. He's more of the outside receiver, but Paysor has been very versatile for this Tar Heel offense.
3rd down and 10. Maye. This is what he can do. Did he slide down too early would be the question. And I think he might have. It's going to be very close. The referee, Adam Savoie, signaled first down. But it looks like they marked that ball just short of the yellow line. And Carolina snaps it quickly. And gets a quality gain on first down. Out to the 29 goes Omarion Hampton for 6.
How about going for it there inside your own red zone too?
So they had given him the first down.
Oh, they adjusted it after the fact. Very good.
Now I'm a little surprised though that they didn't take a closer look at that spot. Here's pressure again, and Maye forced to throw it away over the head of John Copenhaver. As to Corey Couch blitzing again, the 5th-year senior out of Fort Lauderdale.
And they put a lot onto Corey Couch too. He plays that star position there in the slot. He'll have a difficult responsibility of matching up with Nate McCollum, who's an electric wide receiver in the slot for the Tar Heels. So he's a very important player for this defense tonight.
3rd down and 3. Hampton, the running back, 3 receivers and a bunch to the left. Maye under duress gets it off, and it should have been intercepted. There were 2 Miami Hurricanes there. It was James Williams who got fingers on it, and Jared Harrison Hunt who put the heat on Drake Maye.
And you're going to see the offensive line kind of slide to the left, and there's just a bust. You can see the right guard, Willie Lampkin, disengages immediately, which leads to an immediate pressure from Miami defensively. If not for the tip, that would have definitely been intercepted there in the back end.
Was that on Hampton to stay in and block?
Yes, they have a slide protection, but you can't abandon your post. You're responsible for that guy that's lined up just to the outside of you.
Here's Tom McGinnis punting for the first time in a college football game, and a good one. And there's interference with the opportunity to make the catch, and flags fly against North Carolina. Tayon Holloway, the guilty party.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team, number 20. 15-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Certainly seems like Miami's ready to go, particularly on defense. No question about the call. Good field position. They're on Taco Bell app to learn more. Student section engaged. The 5-0 start. First time for Carolina since 1997. They haven't won the ACC since 1980. Might this be the year? They talked on game day this morning. A lot of times over the years, Carolina gets in a situation like this in the season and then has a disappointing start, or finish, I should say. They certainly went downhill at the end of last year. Still played in the conference championship game, lost to Clemson. A 3-yard gain on first down for Henry Parrish.
It does feel like this Carolina team has staying power, though. It's mostly with the improvements that we've seen in the front 7 defensively. As you can see, I mean, obviously,
the history in this kind of game is not good. And Mac Brown was not the coach when they played the Penn Quakers in 1939. Tyler Van Dyke, given all kinds of time, runs out of time, goes down. Webster Jr. and Miles Murphy. And that's a good sign for Carolina on defense, because the coaches talk about Murphy can be kind of up and down. He can either dominate or go long stretches where you don't really notice him.
And Gene Chizik there deciding to go with a drop 8 coverage. Only 3 pass rushers in the front. See them all dropping, eyes in the backfield, trying to close those throwing lanes. That's really well defended by the Tar Heels defensively.
Third down and 7. 5 minutes gone by. Flags down, and they stop the play.
False start. Offense. Number 64. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
I think he said 64. That'd be the left tackle, Jalen Rivers, who moved out from guard to tackle when they brought Javion Cohen in as a transfer from Alabama. Cohen's the left guard, a big reason why this line is so much better. Matt Lee, the center, another transfer, came over after being a 3-year starter at UCF. Huge improvement over a year ago up front. Van Dyke deep down the middle and too high for Restrepo. So Miami will punt for the second time.
It's pretty amazing that Gene Chizik here, the last 2 snaps, of course, obvious passing situation in 3rd and 12, but he had been really aggressive these first 6 weeks of the season. Now, maybe settling in a little bit of a tendency change with back-to-back drop 8 zone coverages and some tight windows that Van Dyke's going to have to try to throw into if that's what they do.
Dylan Joyce cranked that one, and Huzzy a fair catch just inside the 9-yard line. On first down, Omarion Hampton got stood up and put down by James Williams, an outstanding safety, big guy, 6'5", 215 pounds, a junior from Fort Lauderdale. Carolina going very quickly. They'll mix up the tempos. Wide open down the sideline. J.J. Jones into Miami territory and banged out. They're going to mark him at they haven't marked it yet, at the 42-yard line.
And this is just a great job by Jones. As soon as he sees Drake Maye leave the pocket to the left, he's close to the sideline. Scramble rules, you go vertical. Maye hits him for a big gain.
Their first completion, Maye's 1 out of 5, but that one went for 47. Nate McCollum, the Georgia Tech transfer, stopped after a gain of 3 by K.J. Cloyd. He's a transfer from Louisville. First year at Miami after 3 playing for the Cardinals, where he's a backup. And they continue at a high tempo. Chip Lindsey is the first-year offensive coordinator. Maye, lots of running room, and he can move. And out of bounds at the 26 with an 11-yard gain and a Carolina first down.
And Miami's defensive front's going to have to be really mindful of his legs. That's a couple times now where they're going to try to create chaos up front. But when you try to create too much chaos, you're too aggressive, there's running lanes for the quarterback, and Maye's going to take advantage.
Omarion Hampton into the secondary, and he delivered some punishment as he ran into the All-American safety Cam Kinchins. 16 yards, and North Carolina on the move. Already gone 81 yards in just 5 plays. And it's an improved North Carolina offensive line, anchored in the middle by Corey Gaynor, the transfer from Miami. He made 28 starts at center for the Hurricanes, now playing against his former mates.
And he's the bell cow up front. Obviously, veteran player, does so much for Drake Maye and setting the protection. And him and Willie Lampkin, 2 transfers, have really transformed this Tar Heel offensive line.
Second and goal, British Brooks in that running back. He stayed in the block. Maye with a flag thrown down in the offensive line. Run down by Francisco Maui-Noa, better known as Kiko. Outstanding linebacker, transfer from Washington State.
Holding. Offense. offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
The former Cane, Corey Gaynor, called for the hold.
And this is a good call, too, because Ruben Bain is working inside against Corey Gaynor. And watch the center here. He engages with the defensive end, but as Drake Maye breaks contain, you see the right hand of Gaynor grab the left shoulder of the freshman Bain. And now the Tar Heels are behind the sticks. That was a good call by the official.
Second and goal from the 18. Ruben Bain, that true freshman defensive end, part of a tremendous recruiting class. They've upgraded the talent level very quickly in Miami. May throws just a little bit too far out in front of John Copenhaver, the tight end. Jafari Harvey, who's a defensive end, was running in coverage at 6'4", 252.
And this part of the field in the red zone, Drake Maye and his offensive coordinator, they love to find matchups for their tight ends. That time they looked in the direction of Copenhaver, but now coming into the ball game is, I think, one of the most dangerous red zone weapons in the ACC, Bryson Nesbitt. He's up here at the top in the slot. Keep an eye on number 18 in a one-on-one. That's where Maye's going to go.
Third down and goal. 6.5 in the quarter. And a touchdown. Tez Walker. His first touchdown catch as a Tar Heel.
And just a great job by Drake Maye identifying where they were trying to double cover a couple of his wide receivers. He gets Tez Walker on the little glance post. And it's Strike Up the Fight song. Welcome back to college football, Tez Walker.
Scored 11 touchdowns receiving last year at Kent State. NCAA originally saying he was ineligible this year as a two-time transfer. They changed that decision last week. And now he has his first touchdown in Carolina blue. 7-0 Heels.
And in part by Target. When you can get all the fall flavors for less. That's totally Target.
Well, what a thrill for Tez Walker. So disappointed when he could not play at the beginning of the season. And after the NCAA denied his appeal, he thought he wouldn't play at all this year. To the point, Greg, where he spent the 3 weeks prior to the game last week against Syracuse on the scout team.
Right.
He said, I just want to help the team, help the defense be better. There's no reason to take reps away from players on the first offense because I'm not going to play. And that probably hurt him a little bit last week because he really wasn't that familiar with the playbook because it had been a while.
That's tough, too.
Rashard Smith, dangerous return man, flags flying. He's breaking tackles, refusing to go down, and finally down at the 42-yard line. There are some flags. And this one might be coming back a long way. The official who threw the flag, the side judge, moved it all the way back to the 20-yard line.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 21. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, time now for our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update. Let's go to South Bend. Sam Hartman coming off that tough loss in the bright lights against Louisville, responding here, finding Payne across the middle. Touchdown. It's the Fighting Irish up 7-3 against undefeated USC. Back to you guys.
Latest renewal of a great rivalry here in Chapel Hill. The Dr. Pepper Championship Drive game of the week. The U well represented, as always. And they're down 7-0 now as North Carolina just went 91 yards in 8 plays. Tyler Van Dyke, ACC Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, struggled last season during an injury-filled campaign. Henry Parrish got hit hard by Marcus Allen. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, after Tyler Van Dyke was hit on that last drive, he came over to the sideline, was doubled over on the bench in pain, and immediately surrounded by athletic training staff. They put a heating pad on his right hand. He was in visible discomfort. He keeps shaking that hand out. I'm told he's fine, but his throwing hand is bothering him, Sean.
And that finger in particular, that's the last finger that touches the ball as you release it as a right-handed quarterback. So watch and see whether or not the ball maybe misses a bit high, and if the spiral's not quite as tight as it usually is.
Some twisting inside by Carolina. Up for grabs and incomplete. Van Dyke threw it up in the air, hoping Colby Young would come down with it at 6'5". Tayon Holloway, the coverage flag behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense. Number 5. 15-yard penalty.
Javari Ritzy, the junior from Kernersville, North Carolina, called for a big penalty.
And this is, I just don't love it. It's the right call by the letter of the law. I'm a quarterback. I get it. You want to protect the quarterbacks. You cannot hit the quarterback in the helmet under any circumstance. But he's trying to bat the ball. I mean, it's correctly officiated. I'm not saying it's not. But it's got to be frustrating as you see Mac Brown furious on the sideline. I don't really blame him because there's just nothing malicious about that play.
None of the competitive fire has gone out of Mac Brown. Now in his 35th year as a college head coach at age 72. Xavier Restrepo.
Pass completes number 7.
The catch and run, good for 3. Crowd still letting the officials hear it.
So far, 2 throws from Van Dyke. That one a little wide, was still reeled in from Restrepo. But the throw down the field a moment ago kind of fluttered as it left his hand. So maybe that index finger on his throwing hand having a bit of an effect on his accuracy.
Under 5 minutes to go, first quarter. North Carolina leading 7-0. They rushed 5. The defender slipped. Here goes Jacoby George. Inside the 30 of North Carolina, down at the 27.
Man, what a nice route here by Jacoby George. Look at the slant. Look at him set up to the outside, attacks the outside shoulder of Holloway, and then with suddenness gets inside and turns into a big catch and run.
37-yard gain. Flags fly as Parrish goes ahead for about 3.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense number 0. Penalty is after this.
Tamari Fox in the middle of that defensive line.
Yeah, engaged here with the center, Matt Lee. See his hand up there into the face mask.
And no question about it.
Yeah, that's plain as day, and the umpire does a great job of seeing it and throwing the flag.
So the penalties helping this Miami drive. 5th play upcoming for Tyler Van Dyke.
Good look to run the ball here. Not very many Tar Heels in the box.
Henry Parrish is the running back. They do run it through the light box. And down to the 1 goes Parrish.
Parrish, the ball carrier.
Looks like he has a first down just inside the 2. With an 11-yard run, they line up very quickly. Parrish again. Ball's out. And he crossed the goal line. For the moment, it's North Carolina ball. Cedric Gray came up with it. And now he's dazed at the end of the play. And they'll come to 10 to him.
Rolling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, North Carolina.
Let's see, as we got a great look down the line. You could see the ball. Ooh, there it is.
It's coming out.
That ball is definitely coming out. Can't see any part of his body that's on the ground. He's certainly not across the goal line at that point. As you see, the progressive pylon cam has a great look at it. And how about this Tar Heel defense?
As Bo Atkinson, backup defensive end, redshirt freshman, who looked like he popped it out. So a huge turnover right at the goal line by Miami. In his 2 seasons at Miami, last time he lost a fumble was in 2021 when he was at Ole Miss. That came against Tulane. So Don Chaney hadn't fumbled in his career until that fumble at the end of the game last week against Georgia Tech, and now Parrish, his first as a Cane at a key spot. Marion is hit. Was he in the end zone? The ball came out. It was Reuben Bain who hit Maye, and the ball is advanced forward by Kamari Morales. Back near the line of scrimmage, nearly a disaster for Drake Maye and the Tar Heels.
Well, Kamari Morales is actually the guy that misses Bain. He's going across. He has to secure the edge and protect the backside. He does not see Bain coming around the edge, and my goodness, are they lucky they're able to pounce on that football. What a hit by the freshman.
Reuben was almost the bane of the end of Maye's existence with that hit.
Well done. Good pun.
Thank you. Tried my best. Probably a little too hard. To the near sideline, and a good catch made by Tez Walker. He is short of the first down. Big cheer goes up every time he makes the catch. It was a poor start on the opening possession for Maye. They came after him, hit him 3 times. They didn't hit him at all on the touchdown drive. Here's 3rd down and 3 from their own 13.
Miami better be mindful of Drake Maye's legs. He is very dangerous in these situations, extending drives.
4 receivers spread the field. Quick pop. Walker. First down to the 23-yard line. 10-yard gain. And they accelerate the tempo. Running left. British Brooks shot down a good tackle in the open field by Corey Couch. Held that to a gain of 4.
You can really tell just how much Tez Walker is going to help this offense with his presence on the outside.
Pressure on Maye. He scrambles to the right and stumbles back shy of the line of scrimmage. Nigel Kelly, Jared Harrison Hunt with the pressure this time on Maye.
So far, in most of the 3rd downs from Lance Guidry so far, he's really bringing a lot of pressure to Drake Maye's left-hand side, trying to hit him in the blind side, and Drake Maye's had an answer for it very quickly. Let's see if he changes it up here and decides to drop out and play coverage, because it's not been very effective up to this point.
On 3rd and 7. There's a flag thrown at the line of scrimmage. Good call to screen. Will this play stand? British Brooks across midfield. Corey Flag ran him down after a 25-yard gain. There is a flag. It's an excellent call.
Offense, number 65.
They kind of let the pressure come through the middle and through the screen to their right, but the second penalty of the game against Gaynor brings this one back.
And I just don't understand this. It's a screen. You want them to blitz through the A-gap. You just need your quarterback to buy time and retreat, but instead Gaynor engages immediately with the defender and decides to throw him to the ground, which eliminates what would have been a huge play. You want blitzes when you have a screen called, and that time the center doesn't do a very good job of inviting that rush.
Already 5 penalties for 62 yards against the Tar Heels. Now 3rd and 17. A blitz from deep, and they get there. Cam Kinchins, the tremendous safety junior from Miami out of Northwestern High School.
Hey, diddle, diddle, 3 up the middle. That's exactly what this blitz is called. You cannot block it. It is impossible to block. The running back and the center are picked up, and then the safety comes right up the middle, exactly where they already brought pressure. It's an impossible pressure to defend, and they execute it perfectly.
And Lance Guidry told us yesterday that was a blitz that he thought would get there, tie up the A-gaps, and get somebody running free right through the middle. There's some question about what the flag is.
Sportsmanlike conduct. Miami number 4. His first for the game. 15-yard penalty.
Oh my goodness, what a terrible mistake against Keontre Smith. Wow. They had 3 sacks. They were going to force a punt, likely get great field position. And now that keeps the possession alive for North Carolina. It'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. Would have been 4th and 25.
That's the end of the first quarter.
North Carolina leads 7-0 on Walker's first touchdown in Carolina blue. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
J.J. Jones trying to get his towel back. It looked like Ruben Bain was running off with his towel. And then you obviously see number 4 going, and Keontre Smith going and engaging unnecessarily and then hitting him in the face. Just a terrible decision that extends a Tar Heel drive.
And it's 1st and 10, North Carolina from its own 23, leading 7-0. Start of the second quarter. And a moment ago, Molly spoke with Coach Cristobal.
Coach, a costly penalty there. What did you just say to the officials?
Well, I asked them what exactly happened, and if what they saw is true, then the players should be flagged, and they shouldn't be playing. But we just got to, you know what we got to do? We got to prevent ourselves from making mistakes, right? Great drive, got down there. Defense is playing their butts off, some key stops. Got to settle down, play Hurricane football.
Thank you, Coach.
Maye's pass intended for Tez Walker, incomplete. It's Keontre Smith, who's primarily a special teams player, has made only 1 tackle all year. 5th-year senior, who should know better.
Just a terrible decision, but a huge opportunity here for Miami's defense to get off the field after they gave this drive an extra life. So big down here for Lance Guidry and his defense.
3rd down and 11. Maye over the middle, caught but short of the first down. Amari Morales corralled at the 30-yard line, comfortably short of the first down. Actually, it's an incomplete pass, which makes it even more short of the first down. So they'll punt on 4th and 11. Tom McGinnis punting for just the 2nd time. Ben Kiernan was their 5th-year starting punter. He got injured last week against Syracuse. And it's McGinnis punting for the first time ever. 22-year-old sophomore from Melbourne, Australia. And a fair catch made by Ray Joseph. 41-yard kick. Next week, ESPN Primetime has a classic SEC West battle under the lights. 7 Eastern Time, number 13 Ole Miss and Auburn, the annual stripeout game at Jordan-Hare. Ole Miss 5-1. They had a bye this week. That is next Saturday, 7 Eastern Time on ESPN. There's Tyler Van Dyke and Miami. They took it all the way down to the goal line the last time they had it and lost the fumble. So now it's Don Chaney in as the running back. And he powers ahead for about 8 to the 45. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, linebacker Cedric Gray is the heart and soul of this UNC team, and the entire sideline breathed a sigh of relief when he got up and fired up the crowd. He even signaled for a first down after that fumble recovery. I'm told he got the wind knocked out of him. He's fine and suffered no real injuries, Sean.
Great player. 3rd in the country in tackles since the start of last season. He had 142 last year. Most by a Power 5 player. Nifty footwork by Colby Young. And not content to go down at the end of the run. He lowered his head for a couple of more. Stick lane was there. And more flags now. 11 yards. Let's see what the flag is. It's been a flag fest. Already 8 accepted penalties, and we're barely into the second quarter.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
There's Stick Lane, a graduate student from West Palm Beach.
And how about the nifty footwork here from Colby Young at 6'5". He's got some run after catch ability. He's got great lateral agility. And you can see there just an unnecessary shove by Stick Lane. I mean, they're way off the field of play, and obviously emotions are high in this one already with multiple after the whistle penalties. And these two teams are not fond of each other, but you got to keep your wits about you, because goodness gracious, these yardage on penalties are really starting to add up.
6 for 77 against North Carolina. Van Dyke, plenty of time. dime single. Coverage. Flag down. Incomplete pass intended for Colby Young. But a flag on the field at the 12-yard line. Marcus Allen had the primary coverage for North Carolina. And Gio Biggers, very slow to get up.
10-yard penalty.
He's going to come off the field with his right arm pinned to his side.
And as you could just see up top, Colby Young, after the nice catch and run, little stutter go on the outside against Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen with that right arm grabs him as he's going by. So tough on a double move, but the penalty likely saved the touchdown as Biggers is being tended to on the sideline.
As they're starting free safety, they've already had some key injuries in the defensive backfield this year. They have a weakness. That's probably it. They were looking to bring pressure, and Don Chaney taken down by Desmond Evans. DeAndre Boykins was the returning starter at the star position, and he hurt his knee, tore his ACL right before the year began. So Elijah Huzzy, who would have been a cornerback, moved to star. And Tayon Holloway, who would have been like their third corner, became a starter, and he's been picked on a bit as a redshirt freshman. They're in the red zone again. Another nice clean pocket and a wide open receiver. Xavier Restrepo with the Miami touchdown. 18 yards.
This is such a difficult formation to match up with. Into the boundary trips bunch. They obviously love to get Restrepo in those bunches where he can work, and you can see it's a bust in coverage because immediately Power Eccles, the inside linebacker. You don't want an inside linebacker covering a legitimate top-end slot receiver. He looked inside, communicating. Clearly something went wrong, but a great job by Miami answering.
Andy Borregales adds the extra point that ties it. 25 yards in penalties against North Carolina. And the drive 4 plays in 63 yards in a minute and 52. Restrepo, his third touchdown reception. Restrepo with the touchdown reception from his former roommate and very close friend, Tyler Van Dyke. And the kickoff is a touchback by Borregales.
So far, Lance Guidry's defense is really starting to pick things up with their pass rush. You see the little TE stunt, which forces Drake Maye to the outside, and a much better job of keeping contained, forcing him back up and in, and then hey diddle diddle, 3 up the middle. If a blitz has a name, that means it's probably a good one because my offensive coordinator wanted me to remember it. I'll never forget it. It's impossible to defend as Kinchins drops Drake Maye. The pass rush is starting to settle in and having an impact on this game.
Maye's been sacked 4 times, been hit regularly. Omarion Hampton up the middle, out to the 33-yard line, a gain of 8. I would think that might be one way they'll try to slow down the rush, lean a little more heavily on the run after the play fake. Maye running for the sticks, and it looks like he has the first down. He does, just across the 35. He was their leading rusher last year with 698 yards. He passed for 308 per game. Last 2 players to average more than 300 passing yards per game and lead their team in rushing, Patrick Mahomes and Johnny Manziel.
That's good company.
Brooks is the running back. They come after Maye again, and he fires incomplete. Good coverage by Kinchins on Bryson Nesbitt.
That's a big-time matchup. Kinchins, an excellent safety, so good in run support, but here on an island against, I think, one of the most difficult matchups on the field tonight. And Bryson Nesbitt, 6'5" and change, a lot of fluidity, very athletic, and he makes the play.
Short pass and catch, and it's J.J. Jones, a junior from Myrtle Beach, for 6 yards. They're trying to go quickly again. It's 3rd down and 4.
pressure look there from Miami. Drake Maye gets a quick peek. Take a picture is what you call it. Now let's see if Guidry decides to adjust.
North Carolina 56.6% for the year on third down, second best in the country behind only Air Force, and the pass hit his receiver Nate McCollum. There is a flag down, so Corey Couch had the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense number 6. Ball be placed on the spot and foul. Automatic first down.
Damari Brown, the true freshman, called for the penalty.
And this is all-out pressure, but they decide to drop Corey Flagg underneath it. And the ball nearly intercepted. And as you see, it gets tipped, but if the ball gets tipped, they can potentially get rid of the pass interference penalty, because as soon as the ball's tipped, contact is allowed.
They're going to take a Mark McEnany in the replay booth, confirming that it was deflected, therefore no foul for pass interference. And Mac Brown has not sent the offense or the punting unit onto the field yet. It is going to be the punt team now on 4th down and 4. North Carolina at its own 42.
And that was just a great play there by Corey Flagg, dropping out underneath that slant, having an answer for the quick throw.
There's Tom McGinnis for his 3rd collegiate punt. And Ray Joseph back deep. Fair catch made at the 8-yard line. Excellent punt by the new punter for North Carolina. 46 yards and well placed. Well, Miami much improved over a year ago on
2 and length with Colby Young at 6'5". You have speed with George, and you have great reliability with Xavier Restrepo.
And Restrepo just knows how to get open. They're backed up to their own 8-yard line, and on 1st down, it's A.J. Allen, who's their 3rd running back, a transfer from Nebraska, and he got 3.
I think they need to continue to try to lean on the run game. This offensive line, as you've referenced, is vastly improved from where they were a year ago, and so far the wide receivers have had plenty of success. Van Dyke's been very accurate up to this point, but the run game is a big part of making this offense difficult to defend.
Van Dyke short set, didn't connect with his buddy Restrepo. They protected Van Dyke very well all season long. Only 5 sacks allowed, 2nd fewest in the ACC. Duke has given up 4.
They have really grown in that part of the game, and obviously the system helps them quite a bit as well. So got to give some kudos to Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator.
And the talent upgrade with the transfers. Cohen at left guard, Lee the center, and the very highly recruited freshman Francis Mauinoa at right tackle. Over the middle, Restrepo pinballed around, but he has the 1st down with about a yard to spare.
Man, this is big time from Restrepo. In breaking route, you know there's going to be a ton of traffic. You know how far you have to go to pick it up. He goes a yard past the sticks. Van Dyke throws it on time and in traffic as he knows he's about to get hit and hit hard. Restrepo reels it in for the conversion.
Their first 3rd down conversion, 1 out of 3 now. Van Dyke is 6 out of 9 passing for 89 and a touchdown. Setting up a screen. Parrish swung down by the tackling machine. Cedric Gray drops it for a loss back to the 16.
Man, this is unbelievable here by Cedric Gray. Watch how he tracks it all the way. He's in man coverage, has the back, and he's able to track down Parrish. It's so tough to bring him down in the open field, but Gray, one of the best in America, he makes it happen.
Senior from Charlotte. Not highly recruited out of high school. Thought he might be a safety here. Here's Parrish again. Great cut. Henry Parrish up the sideline and banged out of bounds at the 45-yard line. 29 on the run for the junior.
And an excellent job, too, along the offensive front. Javion Cohen and Matt Lee, the guard and the left guard in the center, kind of securing the edge. There's a huge hole, and watch, boom, puts that left leg in the ground. It gets vertical. Henry Parrish has been doing that move dating all the way back to his time at Ole Miss. He's got one crazy good move, and it's that immediate stop-start to the outside at about a 45-degree angle and get vertical. Put a guy on his back right there.
A.J. Allen, a running back. He got run over trying to block. Power Eccles just said, get out of my way. And that forced the quick throw for the incompletion by Van Dyke.
Yeah, this is a business decision here. As you can see, Power Eccles coming off the edge. And A.J. Allen has no chance to be able to slow him down. We're talking to Cedric Gray before the first game of the season, and he said, when I watch Power Eccles put offensive linemen on their behind, we all get a pretty good chuckle at it. So if he's doing that to offensive linemen, he's for sure going to do that to a running back.
Don Chaney at a running back now. Nearly midway through the second quarter. Tied at 7. Miami and North Carolina. Each with hopes of playing in the ACC title game. Of course, no divisions this year. It's one 14-team league. The top 2 will meet for the championship. Tamari Fox in on the tackle on Chaney. Will Hardy also there.
It's pretty clear third down situations who they're going to look at. Xavier Restrepo leads the team in third down looks. He's going to be lined up down here in the slot. Would imagine the progression will start with him. So keep an eye on number 7. If I were North Carolina, I might double him. It's down in distance.
They rushed 3. Looked like they might rush more, and then they dropped out. Van Dyke stopped short of the first down by about 2 yards. Run down by Kamen Rucker.
With the keeper.
And a decision to make for Mario Cristobal in plus territory.
I think they go for it here. Defense has been playing pretty well. They're in plus territory. You have some momentum. I agree with this decision. You can see Miami not traditionally a team that.
As the runner was down by rule. The previous play is under further review.
For what? Guess there's some question about a fumble at the end of the play. Going forward on 4th down and 2. They took a long look at the replay. He was down before the ball came loose. They're at the Carolina 47, tied at 7 in the second quarter. The running back is Henry Parrish. It's well blocked, but now he's running for his life. Dumps it off for a first down. Van Dyke got it to Isaiah Horton. Just his 3rd catch of the season, and a good time for that one.
And they just try to go with a mesh route to get Horton wide open, but it's actually pretty well defended by Desmond Evans, who dropped out as a defensive end. As a result, Horton had to really adjust his underneath shallow cross, but ultimately gets back where he needs to go. As it's a very difficult conflict there for Des Evans, knowing that Van Dyke could probably have picked it up with his feet.
Mario Cristobal told us yesterday Horton's a guy they need to get more involved in the receiver rotation. Here's Parrish. And they are now in field goal range for Andres Borregales. 5-yard run there for Parrish. Borregales getting ready. Well, they're just so much better on offense than they were a year ago. You saw the numbers earlier. Last year, just 5.3 yards per play, 104th in the country. This year, better than 7.5, number 6 in the country. Now, some context, they played a pretty weak schedule till now, with the exception of the game against Texas A&M. Blitz, Van Dyke got walloped, but got it off for the touchdown. Jacoby George. Van Dyke just now
And Power Eccles coming off the left-hand side. He's unblocked. Van Dyke has to beat him with the football. Takes a big shot. But you see the little switch release right here. You have a post and you kind of have a wheel over the top. And how about the speed by Jacoby George going behind the defender there and making the play. What an incredible throw and catch as Van Dyke felt that one right in his midsection, but you can hear the crowd react, and you already know it's a touchdown before you look up.
Well, he already injured his hand earlier. He played through injury a lot of last year and finally had to stop playing. He had a AC joint sprain on the right side, did not require surgery, but it was painful. They went 3-6 in his 9 starts last year in an offense that really didn't seem suited for him or his teammates, coordinated by Josh Gaddis. Mario Cristobal got rid of both coordinators at the end of last year after just 1 season. But the changes seem to have made a big difference, and the talent upgrade obviously helps that as well. George the touchdown. Borregales the extra point for Jacoby George. His 5th receiving touchdown of the year. He had 3 of them in that win against Texas A&M. Well, we wondered, would Miami be ready to go? Well, that's the kind of touchdown pass that will earn you the pats on the back and respect of your teammates. Van Dyke, 8 for his last 10 with 2 touchdowns. He's thrown 14 touchdown passes now in 6 games this year, more than he threw in 9 games last season when he had 10 while fighting through the injury. I think he gets his toughness too from his mom. I read an article that his mom was taking the exam to pass the bar when her water broke and she was pregnant with Tyler, and she stayed and completed the exam while being monitored by some medical people before going to deliver him.
That is.
She didn't want to have to go take the bar again some other time.
That is incredible. I wonder what she got. I mean, I'm sure it must have been.
She's a very successful lawyer.
Now I just want to know, did she ace it? Probably so.
So now Carolina trailing for the first time tonight. Omarion Hampton driving the pile with plenty of push from his offensive linemen and tight ends. And it winds up as a 12-yard run.
Not a lot to it, just a little inside zone. You see the left tackle, Diego Pounds, kind of wash this guy all the way inside, and they run right behind his behind.
And here they come on the run again. It's Hampton again across midfield. And we said it earlier, I think they try to lean a little more heavily on the run to slow down this assault on Drake Maye. Already 4 sacks. There's an injured Kane on the play. The 4 Miami sacks already matches their season high. They had that many against Bethune-Cookman. And we're still 4:39 to the half. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, Boost Infinite halftime report just minutes away with Dan Orlovsky, Booger McFarland here. We've got the highlights of a thriller in Seattle, Washington edging out Oregon, plus reaction right now. Caleb Williams, a career-high 3 picks in the first half against Notre Dame.
Yeah, the Notre Dame defense that struggled versus Louisville is giving Caleb Williams fits. They're confusing him. He's turning the football over. He doesn't look comfortable.
And for Drake Maye in this game, I want to see Drake Maye settle down when Miami's playing man and bringing pressure. He's 6 of 15 for 97 yards in the first half. Have a plan, get the ball to your hands, and be that player that Carolina expects you to be.
Beautiful pass by Van Dyke there. You loved it. You were a big fan.
Yeah. Tough, big-time throw. And the speed by the receiver to track it down.
By the way, it's the first time, as Sean mentioned, that North Carolina is trailing in this game right now, but they are driving, of course, with under 5 minutes to go. We'll see you at the half. Sean, take it away.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Nigel Kelly is the injured Miami Hurricane, important player, excellent pass rusher at defensive end.
And you can see him right here as he kind of converges. Misses the tackle, kind of lands awkwardly, but fortunate for Miami. He's a great edge presence for them. able to walk off under his own power.
So North Carolina on the move after the 14-yard run. They fake the handoff up the middle. It's a reverse. Tez Walker steps out of bounds near the 30. Good call by Chip Lindsey. They'd had success running straight ahead. They faked that and pitched it.
Yeah, just a great job, too, out in front. You see number 81, John Copenhaver, looking like he's going to block inside, reverse his course to be the guy out in front. And you see the speed of Tez Walker on display in the open field.
His first career rush, good for 20 yards. Diego Pounds injured, the left tackle. William Barnes has come in. He's played some left tackle and has started at guard. Hampton for 3.
With the tackle at the 26-yard line.
And we're down to 3:40 to go in the first half. Drake Maye just 6 out of 15. Here's his first pass of this possession and a nice catch. Made at the 21-yard line by John Copenhaver. Just his 7th catch of the season. Good for a 5-yard gain. 3rd down and 2. They line up quickly. They snap it quickly. And Hampton did not get the first down. Stopped in his tracks by K.J. Cloyd. And Mac Brown told us at the start of the year he should have been more aggressive on 4th downs last year. He's going to lean more on the analytics. And no doubt they're going for 4th down here. Miami struggling to get men off the field. And the Miami coach is way out on the sideline, and a flag thrown on Lance Guidry. What is he doing? I mean, he came almost all the way out to the hash marks, screaming at the referee, Adam Savoie. And it looked like the officials were going to give his players time to get off the field.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct against the Miami assistant coach. His first penalty is half distance to the goal. An automatic first down.
And they had a disaster going on as they were trying to get guys in and then trying to get guys out. And you actually see Guidry there on the far side trying to call timeout.
But if he's worried about having too many men on the field, the umpires standing over the ball, giving them time to get their subs off the field. So why is he losing his mind?
He's clearly upset at one of his players who didn't get off fast enough.
Well,
or didn't
he wouldn't be directing that at the officials, though.
I think he was yelling at the players more so than he was the officials. And I think he thought that they had gotten the timeout, which is why he was able to go out on the field. Either way, you got to keep your composure there in a critical down and distance.
So a huge penalty. 1st and 10. And Omarion Hampton again driving the pile. He's powerful at 6 feet, 220 pounds. Sophomore out of Clayton, North Carolina. Was the Gatorade North Carolina Player of the Year as a senior in high school. We got 5 officially. And more power from Hampton down to the 1.
You got to give a ton of credit to Hampton for staying vertical and driving as hard as he is. But, man, the offensive line just surging behind him multiple times on this drive, leading to extra yardage.
And another timeout called by Miami.
Miami, their second. 30 seconds.
And that one makes sense for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're on their heels on defense, and they want to stop the momentum of North Carolina. And number 2, it will give them some.
They're running the ball much better, and I would anticipate a heavy dose of that to kind of take some of the pressure off that offensive line in obvious passing situations.
I think it's good coaching. You said they're having trouble blocking for Maye. He hasn't been sharp largely because of the pressure, so Chip Lindsey's leaning on the run. There's been only 1 pass on this drive. and 7 runs, and it has been working. They're powering their way down the field, and they power to the end zone for a touchdown. Omarion Hampton.
And you see the muddle huddle, which is really difficult for the defense. You don't know what the alignment's going to be. And look at how many guys are on the left side of the center. It's a complete overload with the formation. They go with a quick pitch. It's reeled in. And a nice touchdown there from Hampton, and a great design by Chip Lindsey.
8th rushing touchdown of the year for Hampton. And the extra point booted through by Noah Burnett. So at least 1 rushing touchdown in 5 of their 6 games this season. 9-play drive, 8 of them on the ground, 75 yards and 312. And Hampton's up to 76 yards rushing on 12 carries, and now the touchdown. This Tuesday, ESPN brings you, I love that music.
It's the best.
NHL doubleheader action. 7:30 from Buffalo. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the much improved Sabres hoping to get into the playoffs this year. And then at 10, Colorado and Seattle. A rematch of the first round of the playoffs last year, won by Seattle in 7 games.
And, is that a Charlie Conway jersey? That looks like a Charlie Conway jersey. I'm going to go ahead and assume that's D2, 96. Got the Captain C, of course. Mighty Ducks of Anaheim there on the shoulder patch. But quick shout out to our dear friend Barry Melrose. Just an amazing human being, of course, deciding to retire, citing a battle with Parkinson's. And just love you, Barry. We're thinking about you, man, and we hope you get well real soon.
Amen. He is the best. Liam Boyd, the touchback, 2:05 and 1 timeout remaining for Miami, and Tyler Van Dyke.
And he's done a great job, too. I mean, the protection hasn't always been great, but look at how early he throws this ball. I mean, anticipates the throw to George and throws a really nice comeback to the outside. And then how about acknowledging the bust in coverage, seeing that Restrepo, as a result of the disappearance there, and outstanding in here. Just an unbelievable job of staying firm in the pocket, anticipating the throw. He threw it before the receiver uncovered, and the result of the play was a touchdown. He's played phenomenal tonight in the first 30 minutes.
Having a bounce back year after a difficult 2022. After an excellent 2021. Playing for his 3rd different offensive coordinator in 3 years. Parrish, the ball carrier. The clock runs under 2 minutes after a 5-yard gain. You've seen a lot of that around college football. We're talking about Devin Leary last weekend. You know, NC State preseason player of the year. It struggles there. He goes to Kentucky. He's struggling there. Brennan Armstrong, Virginia, up and down, then goes to NC State. Colby Young, the intended receiver. Marcus Allen says no. But Van Dyke's a talented guy, and he's found the right coordinator in Shannon Dawson, who at the University of Houston the last few years helped turn Clayton Tune into a record-setting quarterback. He set the touchdown pass record in the American Conference last year. Brett Lashley, Josh Gaddis, and now Shannon Dawson, who also coaches the quarterbacks. 3rd down and 6. Carolina has all 3 timeouts left. Van Dyke on the run, incomplete. Diving attempt, but there was no chance to catch that one. It was Restrepo along the boundary.
Just barely off the mark there. It was well defended initially by North Carolina. Van Dyke has to buy a little time. Restrepo's going to come back to him, get friendly, but he's just a little bit too wide. And that was a big play there for Miami, because now Drake Maye will take the field with 90 seconds remaining and 3 timeouts in his hip pocket to potentially steal some points.
Dylan Joyce, the punt, they came after him. Fair catch signaled by Elijah Huzzy. Time for the Aflac trivia question.
No idea.
Well, this is going to be like The Price is Right. You can't go over. I've never understood why you can't go over. I mean, you can be $1 over and someone else is $1 million low and they win.
So you taking $1 right there?
They don't have a calculator. I mean, they can't add and subtract. Nesbitt the catch. You were close-ish, I guess. 3,546 snaps of college football. That's the answer to our Aflac trivia question. 3,546. It's a lot of snaps.
It's a bunch of snaps.
Second and 4. Oh boy. They're trying for that seam ball to Nate McCollum, and it wasn't on target. We are obligated to act. Miami has a player, Cam McCormick, who's in his 8th year of college football. He's a transfer from Oregon. Bunch of surgeries and injuries, and he keeps getting granted additional eligibility. May throws it incomplete. Intended for Walker in his general direction, and again the pressure pays off for Miami. Just 8 out of 19 for Drake Maye, who has completed at least 70% of his passes in every game this year.
Just kind of an interesting sequence there from Chip Lindsey, who I think has had a pretty decent start to this game. I mean, you have 3 timeouts. I would have run the football there a couple times. I mean, you're averaging over 5 yards a carry. Drake Maye has not been himself, just 8 of 19 here in the first half. I would have run the ball a couple times, see if you can't catch a seam, and then go into your 2-minute operation.
Flag down. That possession took only 14 seconds off the clock. There is a flag thrown at the line of scrimmage. The head linesman threw it. Josiah Ford. Ball rolled dead at the 29-yard line. It's against North Carolina. They're looking at the Miami sideline to see what Mario Cristobal wants to do.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 players moving at the same time, numbers 0 and 21. 5-yard penalty at the end of the play. First down.
Now it'll be interesting too. See what Mario Cristobal decides to do as he stay aggressive. His quarterbacks played beautifully tonight. North Carolina will get the ball in the second half, so I would think they're going to give Tyler Van Dyke the freedom here to get into a 2-minute operation to see if he can't steal 3.
They have 1 timeout. They also have a field goal kicker with a strong leg.
When you have 1 left, you know that timeout is for the kicker. So whatever you do, can't take a sack, can't take negative yardage plays.
Van Dyke got it off just in the nick of time. Jacoby George has the first down with a 12-yard gain across his own 45-yard line. Cedric Gray made the tackle. $95 yards receiving in the half for George, and a touchdown. That one's batted away. Intended for George, and a good play by Tayon Holloway. Borregales' career long is 55. He could probably pump it through from a little bit deeper than that. The brother of Jose Borregales, who won the Lou Groza Award for the Miami Hurricanes in 2020. He's trying to make an NFL team. 2nd and 10, flag down. It's Isaiah Horton all the way inside the 30, but what is the flag about? Again, thrown at the line of scrimmage. They're signaling that North Carolina was offside, so this is going to stand.
Offside. Defense, number 10, lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
24 for Horton, 26 after the catch. He had 2 catches all season. He's had 2 important ones here in the first half.
And this is just a great call here by Shannon Dawson. Look at how many Miami offensive linemen are out there. There's 4 Miami offensive linemen, and there's only really 1 defender in the area. Big crease, and now you know you just absolutely can't take a sack to knock yourself out of field goal range.
Van Dyke over the middle. What a catch on a ball thrown behind him by George. He swung down at the 14-yard line, and they're going to clock it because, as Greg said, they want to keep the timeout to get the field goal team on if necessary. What a catch for 16 yards. They clock it with 14 seconds, and the timeout's still in their pocket.
And this is beautiful execution in the 2-minute offense for Miami. Now you get 2 shots at the end zone before you ultimately will kick the ball on 4th down. So find a matchup that you like. I would think that Gene Chizik, the defensive coordinator, this part of the field, no need to pressure. They're already inside of field goal range. Even a sack won't take them out. So I would expect him to drop 8 in coverage, shrink those windows that Tyler Van Dyke's going to have to play, and see if they can't make it difficult for them to find some space in pay dirt.
Another flag down to the corner of the end zone. Lots of contact. George covered by Holloway. No flag there, but again, the head linesman is probably getting tendonitis in his shoulder and elbow throwing all these flags.
Offside. Defense, number 10, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Desmond Evans again.
And you can just look right down the line.
No question.
It's plain as day. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I mean, you got to make the adjustment there. As you can see, 97 penalty yards.
They actually slowed down the pace for a little bit. A couple of the key ones here. Most in any half, first or second half, over the last 20 seasons for North Carolina. 9 for 97. Van Dyke in the flat, and was that caught? Yes, and here comes Coach Cristobal to call the timeout, and he'll send the field goal team on.
Clean on the field is a catch. Timeout. Miami, their 3rd and final. 30 seconds.
And you'd love for that play to have taken just a couple less seconds, and nothing's there initially, just dirt it. And then you might have one more chance to try to throw one to the end zone, but this is the more conservative option, and this is the correct call here by Mario Cristobal. Great execution to 2-minute drill.
There's Borregales. Has made 28 of his last 29 under 40 yards. And this was last year at Texas A&M. He's 9 out of 10 this season, and the only miss was a 54-yarder against A&M. This is from 28 yards. Will Hutchinson is the holder. Good, just inside the right upright, and Miami will take the lead into the locker room. Van Dyke 13 out of 20 for 180 and 2 touchdowns. He was terrific after that subpar performance last week against Georgia Tech. Here, give him some time. He was sacked 4 times in that first half. Andy Borregales going to kick it off. And it'll be a touchback. Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy, we welcome you back. And an uncharacteristically rough half for May, largely because of the pressure. And meanwhile, Tyler Van Dyke and his team, a terrific bounce back after that disastrous game of last week.
Yeah, I mean, really remarkable. They kind of controlled the first half. Of course, they would have had a more sizable lead if not for the fumble into the end zone by Henry Parrish. As you can see what Van Dyke's done, very accurate, very decisive, getting the ball out quickly. In May, he's gotten hit a lot. Settled down a little bit as the game went along, but they got to take some of the pressure off by running the football.
And they start out on the run for nothing for Omarion Hampton. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, I asked head coach Mac Brown about those sacks in the first half, but instead he wanted to talk about the mistakes. He harped on those mistakes and said our team was just trying too hard out there. He said we have 9 penalties compared to their 4. He said he's encouraged that there's a lot that they can fix, but told his team, don't lose control. You didn't play with composure and confidence. He wants to see maturity and a response from his team.
Quick slant catch short of the first down. Bryson Nesbitt, the junior tight end from Charlotte. Good for 7 yards. Maye now 9 out of 20.
And even that one, obviously, just a little bit off the mark. I mean, even some of the receptions, the guys have unusually had to kind of adjust to it, which is not the norm when Drake Maye's throwing it as accurately as he's capable of throwing it.
Second in the country coming in on 3rd down. Just 4 out of 10 tonight. And facing pressure again. Maye a pump fake. Some collision. There's a flag. Tez Walker had single coverage with Jaden Davis and was trying to run by him. And they bumped into each other, and there'll be a penalty.
Holding. 10-yard penalty with an automatic. First down.
As you see Tez Walker trying to release with a little slant and up. Pretty easy call there from the official field judge. Jaden Davis clearly grabbed the jersey. If he doesn't, it's unlikely that Tez Walker doesn't score on that play.
Davis is a transfer from Oklahoma. He's been a boost to the secondary since he arrived. 2-yard gain for British Brooks. Drake Maye started 0 for 4. They came right after him out of the gate, and Mac Brown knew that they would. Then he seemed to settle in, went 5 out of 6 for 88 yards. They had a nice touchdown drive, but finished the half 3 for his last 9. It is 1 for 1 in this half. Launching it again for Walker. He has it! Touchdown! He got behind Jaden Davis without being held that time. 56 yards, second score of the night for Walker.
And this is so difficult for Jaden Davis. Off coverage, his safety's peeking inside, post right over the top. He sells out, tries to make a play on the ball, but the ball is perfectly thrown by Drake Maye, and Tez Walker clearly what an impact he's going to have on this team down the stretch with that size-speed combination.
He can fly, and that was on display there. So Carolina leads now for the second time tonight. They led 7-0. Went down 14-7, tied it at 14, trailed 17-14 at the half, and now they're up 21-17. Drake Maye, the touchdown pass. They went 75 yards in just 4 plays. They knew they were going to get Greg from him. So the guy can do it all over the field. Short passing game, but also stretch the field with that speed.
Yeah, he is just an absolute freak on the perimeter with his speed to go with 6'2.5", and even last week to be just shoved into the lineup in about 36 hours and still have an impact on the game is remarkable, and have one of the best plays of the weekend by catching that high pass on the sideline.
William Boyd's kickoff is a touchback. Molly?
Well, Sean, you mentioned Walker requested to be put on the scout team when he thought he wouldn't be able to play this season, and he admitted to us during last week's game he was still learning plays on the fly, and teammates were explaining routes to him right before he would run out onto the field, but that's not an issue tonight. He is much more confident, and the first thing quarterback Drake Maye said to him when he found out that he was available, get ready to work. He hasn't stopped working to get up to speed since, and he's confident on this sideline. No one is explaining plays to him, Sean. I can confirm that tonight.
And just so happy to be playing. Certainly looked like he was not going to be eligible this year. And then a reversal by the NCAA saying that they had received additional information. Mac Brown very emotional. He told the young man he would be able to play. So now Miami finds itself trailing again. Henry Parrish Jr., the running back, and he takes the ball from Tyler Van Dyke and dives ahead for about 3. As Walker started his college career at NC Central, didn't play there. They canceled the season for COVID. He went to Kent State. And then when his entire coaching staff left, he wanted to transfer back home. Very close to his grandmother. And the transfer was not allowed. He was not allowed to be eligible this year by the NCAA, citing the 2 transfer rule. Very emotional time around really the whole state of North Carolina, who rallied behind Walker. Xavier Restrepo, the catch and run. Matter of fact, when he returned last week, he carried the state flag out of the tunnel when they ran onto the field to start the game, because he wanted to say thanks to all the people around the state who had supported him.
Special young man, and what a roller coaster of emotions. Your season's over, it's not over, it's over again, and then it's not over. But he weathered the storm now and is having an opportunity to showcase his ability at the highest level.
He thought he would be eligible to play in the opener in his hometown of Charlotte. He had about 30 relatives there, bought tickets. Was crushed when he couldn't. Colby Young, the catch. There's a big group here tonight loving this performance. Colby Young, good for 9 yards on that play. 2nd down and 1.
This would be a shot play for me if I'm Shannon Dawson. 2nd and 1, running the ball pretty well. I'd go heavy play action and see if I can't throw one downfield, knowing that even if it's incomplete, you got 3rd and 1 to get it.
Parrish remains the running back. Flea flicker. Wide open, 40-yard line, and the knee went down on the catch for Jacoby George, who had a career high 111 receiving yards in the first half. He's up to 6 catches for 125 after that 14-yard game, which would have been more if he hadn't had to go down to a knee. We had a brief but pretty brisk rain shower at halftime.
It's raining really hard at halftime, but lightening up just a little bit right now, and
it's still coming down a little bit.
Not having an impact on the quarterback's accuracy so far, that's for sure.
Just a light rain now, and trouble with the ball. Tar Heels think they have it, and they do. Miles Murphy came away with it. The 2nd Miami turnover. The first one very costly. They lost a fumble inside the 1-yard line going in.
Well, that's the announcer curse. We did say that the wet ball wasn't having an effect on the quarterbacks. We did not mention the center, as right there, Matt Lee snapping it way off to the left. Van Dyke can't corral it, and Miles Murphy's right there to pounce on it. What a huge turn of events for North Carolina. Now, if I'm North Carolina's offensive coordinator, Chip Lindsey, I'm taking a shot. Sudden change, go deep.
Center Lee very upset on the sideline. It was one of those pictured at the end of the game last week. So emotional after that excruciating loss. And here's Omarion Hampton just continuing to power his way. Alex Mirabal is the offensive line coach. Hampton again. Double-digit run again.
Hampton is a load, man. 220 pounds, and he finishes runs with guys falling backwards.
Low throw, and the ball not caught by Nate McCollum. So Hampton's on the verge of a 100-yard game. He's up to 98 yards rushing, averaging 6.5 per carry. He came in 2nd in the ACC in rushing yardage among running backs, 3rd in the conference. Jawar Jordan leading the conference in rushing entering today, and then Thomas Castellanos, the electric quarterback at Boston College, 2nd in the ACC in total rush yards, with Hampton 3rd. Look out! May got buried by Kiko Mawinoa.
And you'll see Mawinoa just run right around the protection. They all slide down. It's perfectly timed. May tries to get rid of it, tries to buy a little time by sliding to his left. But the transfer from Washington State drops him for another big loss.
Season high 5 sacks. Had only 11 all year. And the 4-sack game was against Bethune-Cookman. 3rd down and 20. They're not in field goal range. 10-yard loss. Maye behind his intended receiver, Bryson Nesbitt.
That was a huge sequence there for Miami. Sudden change. Offense made another critical mistake. It's happened a few times to this Miami defense so far tonight, and they get the big sack on second setup, long yardage situation, and they get off the field. That was a great job by Lance Guidry's group.
So here's Tom McGinnis, who's had a very solid debut as the North Carolina punter. Punted 4 times in the first half for a 43-yard average along a 50. Trying to keep it away from the return man, Ray Joseph. And will be down to the 14-yard line. 9 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Carolina up by 4. You're watching ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Capital One.
On a few different occasions tonight, Henry Parrish going into the end zone, fumbling, and it's picked up by Cedric Gray. They can't get things substituted on a 4th and short. Their coach ultimately gets a 15-yard unsportsmanlike for walking onto the field. Cashes on in a moment later with the touchdown, and then just a moment ago, first drive of the second half, snap off the mark by Matt Lee. It leads to a fumble, but the good news is Miami's defense has bailed them out multiple times after those turnovers, so going to have to pay it off and stop shooting themselves in the foot.
After the defense got the ball back, here's Van Dyke with 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. He throws an interception. Underthrew his receiver right to Cedric Gray. That's shades of last Saturday night against Georgia Tech.
Look at the eyes of Cedric Gray, watching Van Dyke the entire way, just slowly drifting out into his zone drop area underneath the curl route that Van Dyke's trying to hit. Goes up, makes a great catch on a high ball, reels it in. That's just tremendous eyes there from Cedric Gray.
His first interception of the season. He had 2 last year. And that looked a lot like a couple of those interceptions last week. It almost seemed like Van Dyke didn't realize where some of the defenders were.
Yeah, he just didn't see him right there.
So great field position. It's Hampton turning the corner. There's a flag down. Thrown by the center judge behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. First out.
And a bemused look. Mac Brown, I think, has had enough of the officiating. It's Ed Montelis called for the penalty.
And it's a good call. He's engaged with the defender up front, but as soon as Hampton bounces it to the outside, you see that left arm of Montelis hang on just a little bit too long, and the center judge saw it immediately and threw the flag. That was the correct call. But North Carolina just continues to just wear itself out with bad penalties.
They're 10th. They're over 100 yards now in penalties. Pressure brought by Miami, and Maye just threw it at the feet of British Brooks. He didn't like that one at all. Chico Mauinoa was applying pressure. He's the older of the 2 Mauinoa brothers. His youngest brother, Francis Mauinoa,
Second down.
one of the most highly recruited offensive linemen in the country out of high school last year. And as a family, they made a decision basically wherever Francis decided to go to school, that's where Kiko was going to transfer to, and the family was going to move from American Samoa there. So they all decided to go to Miami. Maye shoveled pulls it away. There's another flag down in the offensive backfield. Another one of those super talented freshmen, Ruben Bain, was a menace for Drake Maye in this offensive line.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
And it was Bain who got held by Spencer Rolland, a transfer from Harvard in his second year at UNC.
Yeah, and this is just a great move by Bain. You see him work upfield and slip underneath real quickly. And right there, Spencer Rolland. That should be like a 15-yard holding penalty. That was definitely a save of life, though, either way. And yet again, here they are in a situation along yards, but it looks like maybe Mario Cristobal thinking about declining it, going 3rd and 20 potentially.
Correction. Miami has chosen to decline the foul. It's 3rd down.
And that's interesting because they're on the fringe of field goal range here. Now, we should point out North Carolina had an injury to their starting kicker at the beginning of the year, Ryan Coe. He injured his groin. And they went back to Noah Burnett, who was their kicker last year, but he does not have as big a leg. His career long is 48. And this would be about 50 from here. Maye protected well this time. And it's Walker again. Tez Walker, 3rd touchdown of the night. And a flag after the play. The family waited a while to watch him play as a Tar Heel back in his home state. It was worth the wait. What a performance. Three touchdowns on 5 catches, 125 yards receiving. This penalty's against Miami for a personal foul.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 20.
James Williams, one of their best players. So here's Burnett. Who hasn't missed a kick this year, extra point or field goal, and he's still perfect.
And I know the offensive line has had a problem holding so far, but this is just great protection. This route takes forever to develop as Tez Walker gets all the way up to 15, 16 yards and breaks straight across the middle of the field. It's called a dagger route. You have number 6, Nate McCollum, that's basically running a knife through the deepest defender, and Walker comes right behind him. And as he's running at full speed, you see the run after catch and just how strong he is. And Drake Maye has to love what he's seeing from his new weapon.
Touchdown of the season. All tonight, a second game for North Carolina.
They're getting phone calls.
What an emotional ride it's been for that family.
Amazing.
You know, credit to the young man. When it looked like he wasn't going to play this year, he could have left school. And Mac Brown basically told him, we will do whatever you want. You know, if you just want to get ready to go to the NFL after this season, if you want to continue to practice with the offense, you want to be on the scout team. He said, I want to be on the scout team. That's the best thing for this team. And we talked to Elijah Huzzy yesterday, the return by Brashard Smith. And he said Walker made the defense better because the first team defense is out there covering him for 3 weeks on the scout team, to the point where it was almost as if they want to say to the coaches, all right, take him off the scout team because he's really not helping our confidence.
Right.
When he's running by us left and right.
They were really happy to get him eligible to help them and to stop obviously helped their offense, but man, he was putting on a show on the scout team during the week.
And I think his eligibility changes the whole trajectory for North Carolina. You know, they're a significantly better team with him at wide receiver. Parrish now dumped for a 1-yard loss by Miles Murphy, who can be up and down, but he's been the good Miles Murphy here tonight.
Yeah, these last 2 weeks, I mean, he's really starting to play at a high level. And you talk to Gene Chizik, man, hey, what's going on with Miles Murphy? Like, why can't we get that version of him every week? But, man, he's showing up in a big way on a big stage tonight.
Feels like an important possession here for Miami, down by 2 scores. And momentum against them midway through the third quarter. Short completion to Restrepo, and then they all rallied the ball. Kevin Hester in there. Just a 4-yard gain. One out of 5 on third down tonight. 3-man rush. They still get there. Kamen Rucker took him down for the first Carolina sack of the night.
Well, you mentioned the 3-man rush, Sean. It's exactly what they did. And Kamen Rucker working against the true freshman, Francis Maui Noah, just works right around the young big fella and drops Van Dyke for a huge sack. The first sack of the night for the Carolina defense, and a group that's improved drastically in that area this year.
Although it's interesting, right? They had 9 sacks in the opener, then they had only 4 since then. And that's their first one tonight. Here's Huzzy. Good coverage by Miami. North Carolina with its biggest lead of the night on the ball. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. 6 minutes to go, third quarter. It's been all Tar Heels since the break. And here's Hampton having a terrific night. Omarion Hampton with another late flag. It has been flag day here in Chapel Hill. Cam Kitchen stopped it.
Holding. Offense. Number 5. 10-yard penalty. First down.
J.J. Jones, the wide receiver, that takes down a 26-yard gain for Mac Brown's heels.
And he's just engaged forever. I mean, but you got to let him go at that point. You can see him tug at the jersey there at the very end. It was unnecessary. At that point, that defender has no chance of tackling Hampton as he's getting upfield. So just let him go and keep the big gain.
11 penalties, 117 yards, and still an 11-point lead. British Brooks. North Carolina is the first team to rush for over 100 against Miami this year. They'd held all 5 opponents prior to tonight to under 100 yards rushing. They're considered by the NCAA to be number 1 in the country, coming in rushing defense at 58 yards allowed per game. James Madison actually has allowed fewer, but they're transitioning to this level of college football. May up and incomplete. Well out of bounds. Nate McCollum trying to track it. Third down and 10.
Huge down here for Miami's defense, just reeling here in the third quarter.
Well, they have had no help from the offense. Miami's offense has run 5 plays and a fumble. 1 play, it was the interception. 3 plays and a punt. May has a wide open receiver in the flat. John Copenhaver escapes the tackle, and finally tackled around the legs by Cam Kitchens. Jaden Davis the whiff, and it wound up as a 31-yard play.
Man, that was a great job there by Drake Maye, acknowledging there's nobody in the flat. Just take it and let your guy run for it.
He stayed in bounds. British Brooks, the ball carrier.
So many times on 3rd and 10s. I mean, the quarterback's waiting forever to try to find somebody that's already beyond the sticks. Just get it out quickly. He's got plenty of space to make a guy miss. Just kind of shows you the maturity of Drake Maye and trusting his guy to make it happen and to get the line to gain.
Not a high percentage completion night, but a good yardage night. 231 yards passing for Drake Maye on just 12 out of 28. Walker went in motion. He's wide open in the flat. Finally, it comes out to him. Shoved out of bounds near the first down marker. He will move the chains with that 11-yard gain.
The protection for North Carolina improving drastically, too. I mean, Drake Maye got hit a bunch in the first half, but they've done a good job here in the second.
It was a 7-yard gain. Miami wasn't really lined up as that ball was snapped. Hampton over 100 yards and counting now. 109 on 17 carries. Second and 2 at the 14. Hampton dragging tacklers with him. To Corey Couch. Finally got him down. Lance Guidry's defense getting gashed right now.
Prior to the snap, timeout. Miami, their first. 30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 2:57.
So first and goal. And obviously a huge difference here between a touchdown and a field goal. Touchdown makes it a 3-score game. Under 3 minutes to go. Maye, beautiful play design. Great call. Well executed. There is a flag. Words we have said before tonight. If it stands, it's a receiving touchdown for Hampton.
Defense, 12 men on the field. Penalties decline. Results of the play. It's a touchdown.
Wow. It's kind of rough when you have 12 people on the field out of a timeout. Well, a lot of mistakes starting to pile up against Miami. That's Hampton's first receiving touchdown of the season. Noah Burnett. 35-17.
And a great job at the end of the line of scrimmage by Copenhagen. He secures the edge, which allows Hampton to get right out into the flat. Look at the edge get secured. You already have some eye candy on the fake reverse, which holds a couple defenders. And you throw Omarion Hampton, piece of cake, right into the end zone. It's just great design, and it's so difficult to defend.
And you look up, and Drake Maye has 4 touchdown passes and no interceptions. On a night when Miami's made it difficult for him. That's far from a season-high rushing for Hampton. He had 234 in their win here, game 2 of the season against Appalachian State. And 30-plus points in each of the first 6 games of the season for the first time since 1914. And that's the only other time they've done it.
It's been a minute.
Is this one we're supposed to say was Mac Brown's second year as the head coach of the Tar Heels? Mac would have a good sense of humor about it. 72 years old, the oldest head coach in FBS football. A couple of months older than Nick Saban, but still on top of his game. A team that believes it's the best in the ACC. We shall see. Rashard Smith runs out of bounds. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, time now for our Chick-fil-A move on the field. And number 22 LSU looked really good behind Jaden Daniels. 3 touchdowns. This one to Kyron Lacey. All over Auburn, 48-18. LSU now faces Army next weekend before Alabama in early November. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Kevin. There's 28 yards of offense here in the third quarter for Miami.
28 yards of offense and 2 really costly turnovers.
Henry Parrish is the running back. They'll have to sling it around a lot. Restrepo, short gain, wrestled down by Elijah Huzzy. What an addition he's been to that defense that was dreadful last year. Transferred in from East Tennessee State, where he's a first-team FCS All-American last year. Had 12 interceptions in 30 starts at East Tennessee. That game against Pitt, he had 2 interceptions, and he also had a punt return for a touchdown. Parrish, little there. He ran into Jabari Ritzy. Now we have one less undefeated team. It's Henry Parrish, the running back, who's injured. In the ACC, Louisville lost at Pittsburgh tonight, 38-21. So the only undefeated teams in conference play are Florida State, North Carolina, and Duke. Duke's in action right now and leading NC State 24-3 at the end of the third quarter, so they're likely to remain undefeated in conference play.
Pretty impressive how good this league has gotten this year. I mean, I know that for a long time, a lot of people have kind of used the ACC and their football product is a bit of a punching bag. And look, the best part I think about it is their one-team league, and now they have 4 or 5 teams that can go with just about anybody.
On 3rd and 6, and a back shoulder throw knocked away. Intended for Colby Young. It was Armani Chapman, who's a backup corner, who had the coverage. There is a flag down.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, 15-yard penalty on the previous spot.
Wow.
Automatic, first down.
Well, he has said when the competitive fire goes, that'll be the end of the line for Mac Brown. But that doesn't appear to be happening anytime soon. 12 penalties for 132 yards against his team. And still an 18-point lead. And Van Dyke goes down for a big loss. Bo Atkinson, Kamen Rucker leading the way for North Carolina.
And just a great job by Kamen Rucker on the outside. Atkinson starts up top, then folds underneath. These tackles are just getting a lot of surge. It's a great job there, dragging down Van Dyke and just beating the tackles around the edge.
And earlier on, it was Maye getting hit with regularity. Now it's Van Dyke getting hit time and time again. 2nd and 21, final minute of the third quarter. Chaney collared along the near sideline by Cedric Gray. Just a 3-yard gain. I know we're still in the third quarter as well, but down by 18. Miami might want to pick up the pace of the operation here.
I completely agree. I mean, possessions, especially with how North Carolina's figured it out defensively, or offensively, excuse me, possessions are at a premium.
Just 3 men along the line for North Carolina. They're defending that line to gain. Cheney. It's basically about what North Carolina was willing to give him.
And that play more than likely to set up going forward on 4th down to kick off the 4th quarter.
It'll be 4th and 10.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
And you would think they would be going for it down by 3 scores. 20. Really have to have. Tyler Van Dyke down the middle and broken up. Intended for Restrepo. Looked like it was a little bit behind him and into a crowd, but he had to try it. Elijah Huzzy had the primary coverage.
Yeah, and this is really well covered by Huzzy in a chase and trail technique. He's chasing and trailing, and obviously there's not a very big window for Van Dyke to throw that into. Hits Huzzy right in the back. There's really nowhere else to put it. The only place you could would be high to allow Restrepo to go up and get it, but just really well defended there by the Tar Heels.
An abysmal second half on offense for Miami. North Carolina takes over at its own 44. The design run for Maye. First down, an 11-yard run a moment ago. Molly with Mack.
Coach Tez Walker with 3 touchdowns so far. How does his presence change this team?
Well, we thought he's a great athlete. He's tough, he's smart, he just made plays, he's confident, and he makes a difference in our football team.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Making a little bit of history here tonight. First North Carolina player with 3 receiving touchdowns and 20 yards rushing in a game since Hakeem Nicks did it against Boston College in 2018. Just the 3rd player in the conference this year with 3 receiving touchdowns in a game. Keon Coleman for Florida State against LSU. Jacoby George for Miami against Texas A&M.
He's having a tremendous coming out party tonight. And look, it's hard to live up to the hype that he came to Carolina with, but man, he certainly is doing it tonight.
Second and 6, North Carolina on the move again. They're at the Miami 40. Omarion Hampton. Shoved out of bounds by James Williams. Huge night for the sophomore running back. That's 17 more receiving yards to go with his 123 on the ground.
He's been terrific, and you got to tip your cap to Chip Lindsey, the offensive coordinator. I think he's called a really nice game here in the second half, mixing things up, misdirections, mixing run pass, and making sure protection's sound for Drake Maye.
Hampton again. There's a flag on every play. And
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Ed Montelis. They're coming into school record territory here in terms of the penalty yardage.
Yeah, and you're going to see Montelis here as he's trying to go up to the second level to get Maui Noah. Maui Noah slips underneath him. It looks like he just kind of grabs that right shoulder pad. Didn't look like a ton there, but I think the umpire probably had a better look at it than we did.
So 13 penalties for 142. The school record in a single game penalty yardage is 150 against Duke back in 1947. And we have that confirmed because our statistician Mike Swanson, who's here tonight, was also working that game. So Mac Brown will not be pleased with that, but it says a lot, I guess, about your team. And you can be taking on the top 25 team in Miami, commit 13 penalties, and still win comfortably, and that's what it's looking like. British Brooks, the running back. Quick screen, Nate McCollum. And it's not just Tez Walker. McCollum had a 15 reception game earlier this year against Minnesota for 165 and a touchdown. That one goes for 15. Caught 60 for Georgia Tech last year, and 3rd and 1 they get stopped. And they're going to keep the offense on the field. And go for it on this 4th down. Miami's defense best in the country entering tonight on 4th down. Their opponents 1 for 8 going for it on 4th down. Chip Lindsey with the play call.
Keep an eye on number 18, Bryson Nesbitt. He's been pretty quiet tonight. Just 2 catches for 13 yards. Been targeted a bunch.
They better hurry. They're not going to get the playoff. I think they're going to let it go all the way down and use the timeout. They do. So 2 timeouts left for each team. With 11:06 to go, North Carolina comfortable, and he is electric. Tez Walker, 3 touchdown receptions in his 2nd game for North Carolina. 18, 56, and 33 yards. Just the 5th player in the country this year with 3 receiving touchdowns of 15 yards or more in a game. After the timeout, Mac Brown has decided to kick the field goal and try to make it a 21-point lead. It'll be a 34-yard try for Noah Burnett from just inside the right hash marks. Drew Little is the snapper and Cole Maynard the holder. Burnett is 7 out of 7 in field goals this year. He's 8 out of 8. So they've lost their starting punter, their starting place kicker, and the replacements have been terrific. 4-0. And then LSU and Ole Miss each with 1 loss. So that's a big one for the Rebels next week on the road. Loveliest village of the Plains. Little sky kick and a fair catch made at the 28-yard line. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, time now for our AT&T 5G studio update. Awful night for USC. It got worse. Xavier Watts already 2 picks, and this scoop and score. The Irish defense, big night. 6 straight loss in South Bend for the Trojans. USC suffering their first loss of the season. 48-20 the final.
Okay, really just a matter of time for USC was going to lose the way they've played defense.
Oh, my goodness.
Or haven't played defense.
Yeah, they've been very fortunate to be unscathed even up to this point with close calls against Colorado and Arizona last week. Should have lost last week, frankly.
Tyler Van Dyke. They haven't scored here in the 2nd half. Restrepo, a nice catch. But a very short game with Elijah Huzzy right there. 3 yards on the play. Make it 4 for Restrepo.
A tough hill to climb here, but I would think it'd be 2-minute mode offensively, down 3 scores, and obviously be thinking about onside kick if you can get in the end zone.
Single coverage, long throw, incomplete. Intended for Colby Young with Armani Chapman running in coverage. 3rd down and 6. They're 1 out of 7 on 3rd down. This place used to have a reputation for not being very loud. That's no longer true. Ten and a half to go. Miami down 21. Wow, what a catch. And Dyke threw a rocket over the middle, and Brashard Smith, arms outstretched for an 11-yard gain.
Man, this is a heck of a catch. That ball's throwing with a lot of pace and velocity, and Smith's able to reel it in.
Just his 7th catch of the year. He's the leading kickoff return man in the country. Van Dyke flush, shovels it. Got it off to A.J. Allen, who did well to get back to the line of scrimmage. Desmond Evans applying pressure for North Carolina. A.J. Allen is a transfer from Nebraska. Tale of 2 halves for this offense. And for the Miami defense, for that matter, as well. As we said earlier, Greg, you know, that loss last week, Georgia Tech, in terms of the conference race, you know, it really gave them no wiggle room And this will be 2 conference losses if it stays like this. They're trying to make a game of it again. And Brashard Smith got run down by Huzzy, saved a touchdown, 25 yards for Miami.
Yeah, and this is a good job too by Van Dyke attacking the line of scrimmage. The timing to Brashard Smith was a thing of beauty. As soon as he turned around, that ball was on him, and he was able to tight turn, have a nice catch and run.
257 yards passing for Van Dyke on 22 out of 32. Here's another completion. It's Isaiah Horton, redshirt freshman from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Coaches said they wanted to get him more involved, and he has been. 9-yard play. 2nd and 1 at the Carolina 23. Year 2 for Mario Cristobal as head coach at his alma mater. Unless this one turns around, he'll be 9-9. Their 5-7 season a year ago. Made 7 changes to the coaching staff. To the end zone and incomplete. Tyler Harrell was there. The 7th-year seniors played at Louisville and Alabama. 4 years at Louisville, last season at Alabama.
That was good recovery there by Marcus Allen. He was beat initially, and the ball held up just a little bit too long to allow Allen to close and ultimately break up the pass.
3rd and 1, clearly 4-down territory for Miami. A.J. Allen told to get on the other hip of Van Dyke by the quarterback. Nice bounce outside. And A.J. Allen swung down after picking up the 1st down and more. Gio Biggers made the tackle. A.J. Allen played in just 4 games as a true freshman last year at Nebraska, redshirted, and then transferred in. He's a redshirt freshman from Monroe, Louisiana. They list him at 5'11". That might be a little generous. 186 pounds. Approaching the midpoint of the 4th quarter. Van Dyke running out of time and throws it away. Threw it for Riley Williams, who they think is going to be the next great tight end at Miami.
Right now, obviously the clock is stopped, but this drive is really taking a long time. 3.5 minutes off the clock already. Obviously has to result in points. 4-down territory the rest of the way. Got to pick up the urgency a little bit on the upcoming possessions.
Looking for Restrepo, and he can't hang on. It's broken up by Huzzy. Terrific play by the star, which is a very important position on this North Carolina defense.
Yeah, similar play that they actually scored on earlier. This time, Huzzy covers it appropriately. Earlier in the game, Restrepo is running wide open down that left sideline for a touchdown, and Huzzy times it beautifully and breaks up the pass.
He's going to be a cornerback until they had the injury to their starting star. Huzzy said he likes playing the star position because you're all over the place. You're almost always put in a position to be around the ball, sometimes up playing the run. 11th play of the Miami drive, 3rd down and 10. Van Dyke over the middle and off the hands of his intended receiver, Brashard Smith, and incomplete. I'm pretty sure this is the most consecutive plays that they played in this game without a penalty flag.
What are we at, like 3 or 4 in a row?
About that. They have to have it. 4th down and 10. More than midway through the 4th quarter and down by 3 touchdowns. Van Dyke, beautiful throw and catch, touchdown, Xavier Restrepo. And they're still alive on a 13-yard score.
Man, this is a heck of a throw by Tyler Van Dyke. It's a really nice route by Restrepo. You see him just work right around Huzzy, but look at how the throw is kind of like a back shoulder. You see those an awful lot on the boundary. You see him on the sideline. You don't often see him over the middle. He throws the back shoulder to allow Restrepo to turn, high point it, and reel it in for the touchdown. That was an amazing throw.
For Gallus, the extra point. Restrepo 8 catches, 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the third touchdown pass of the night for Tyler Van Dyke. 12-play drive. For an onside kick here, North Carolina's lined up as if they are expecting that. With Miami down by 14, 7:14 to go. Or Gallus has it teed up at the 35-yard line. 10 of the 11 Tar Heels up close, and the deepest man is only back at the 25-yard line. They put it in a tough spot. Nice play by Bryson Nesbitt, but then he lost it for a moment and got back on it. Looked like he was going to make a tough catch. It got loose for a moment, but he fell on it. It's a well thought out attempt by Miami. Pooch kick into a tough spot for North Carolina to field it.
Yeah, I mean, Nesbitt kind of running underneath it. That would have been an unbelievable catch. Unfortunate for him as it squeaked out. It didn't go far. People just lean over on the football, but really well placed pooch kick there by Miami.
And because they didn't go with a traditional onside kick, they don't kill themselves in the field position. It's at the 29-yard line. And Drake Maye. They've been riding the running game successfully. Omarion Hampton taken down by Corey Flagg. And that'll take us under 7 minutes to go.
If you're Drake Maye, you're absolutely not going to snap this football until there's under 5 seconds on the shot clock. The shot clock, of course, a lot of people, that's what quarterbacks call it. It's the play clock. I understand that. But gotta let that thing just melt and melt and melt. So take as much time as humanly possible, and hopefully their offensive line can move some of these Hurricane defenders back.
They rushed for 177 yards, and that total is growing with every step. Hampton trying to go all the way. He got dragged down by Corey Couch at the 10-yard line. 61 yards.
And there's only 5 Miami defenders there in the run fit, so they rolled their safety, James Williams, down. He came down way to the left, and instead Hampton goes right up the middle, and there's nobody home. It's just a really poor fit from Miami defensively, and Hampton almost took it the distance.
188 yards. That run officially 60. And a chance for his second game of 200 plus this season. Mentioned earlier the 234 against Appalachian State. Maye. Planted by Kiko Mauinoa. I don't think, given North Carolina's situation, I would have too many more design runs for your star quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, keep him honest every once in a while, sure, but this game, if you just kneel on it right now and kick a field goal, it's likely out of reach for Miami. So don't take any unnecessary.
Let's not.
That's too soon.
Go to a touchy subject.
I did not even think about that. We're on to the next week.
I think it's a little early for Mac Brown to be taking. You don't want to overreact and start taking knees with 5 minutes to go.
More tongue in cheek than anything, but don't take unnecessary risk. Long story short.
Hampton tripped up. Touchdown saving tackle by Corey Flagg. But that's 10 for Omarion. They have him officially with 197 yards. I would think they would let him to try to take it in, get over the 200 mark. 3rd down and goal. Even a field goal here is a huge difference maker. Puts it back to a 3-score game. They're a little thin at running back now. Mac Brown told us yesterday George Pettaway and Elijah Green, who were basically 4 and 5 on the depth chart, both want a red shirt. Good tackle. Nate McCollum dropped by Devontae Brown for a loss of 1. I think if you're Miami here, you might want to start thinking about timeouts.
Yeah, I would call one right here.
Yeah, rather than let a whole 30 seconds, because it's easier to stop the clock when you have the ball, obviously.
And just preserve some clock. I would definitely call a timeout here.
And I think North Carolina is going to do what they've done before, let the play clock run all the way down and then use a timeout. Mac Brown is down at the 12-yard line. Next to the line judge, Peter Barada.
North Carolina, their second. 30 seconds.
And in the near future, Greg, the schedule looks pretty favorable. Take nothing for granted in college football, but Virginia, Georgia Tech, Campbell, the next 3. And then the rivalry game with Duke, and that's here, and then finishing on the road at Clemson and at NC State.
Yeah, obviously tough 3-game stretch to finish up. NC State obviously a really inconsistent season so far in 2023, but Clemson, I think by that point, will be playing really good football. They're rounding into shape in some ways, and obviously Duke continues to impress.
Wonder if they'll get Riley Leonard back. There's some speculation he might play today.
Yeah.
That would be huge for Duke. So here's Burnett, which this one would pretty much put it away. 17-point lead, makes 3 scores. 23-yard attempt. He's already connected from 34, and he's 8 for 8 this year, after he lost his starting kicking job to the transfer Ryan Cole. That one almost blocked. There's a flag down. Jaden Davis ran into the kicker. It was 4th and 5. So I think they're wondering if this would be a first down.
Running into the kicker. Defense number 22. Penalties declined. Field goal is good.
Wouldn't have been a first down, so take the points. And just about everything working well tonight for the Tar Heels. You know, it's a really impressive team. Not a lot of weaknesses.
No, they are excellent. And I'm so impressed with Tez Walker. I mean, he makes them different. And they already had a good receiver core. I mean, even in his absence, what Kobe Paysor was able to step up and do, how Nate McCollum filled the void, obviously Bryson Nesbitt at the tight end spot. They've been really good. But now that they have a legit go-to game-changing type wide receiver, they're going to be really tough to defend, because you cannot single cover Tez Walker, because he will eat you alive. That just obviously helps the run game too, because safeties will have to stay over the top. I mean, having a guy that's that dynamic really changes how you defend an offense with this many capable playmakers.
A lot of the folks have stayed here. Some have headed into the Carolina Knights. Really pleasant night here, with the exception of that brief shower. Temperature in the 60s throughout the evening. So North Carolina is going to beat Miami for the 5th year in a row. They kicked it away from Bashard Smith. Still a pretty nifty return. Brought back by Ray Joseph. Here's a look at tonight's Mark of a Fighter moment, brought to you by Modelo.
It's hard to be anybody other than Drake Maye. Just amazing. Quarters coverage. He sees the safety get a little nosy there. Throws it over the top to Tez Walker, who's in a one-on-one situation. on a big post, and it's easy money. And then 3rd and 20. You know these safeties are going to drop deep, so you go with a dagger concept. You take that slot receiver, run it right through the middle. You bring Tez Walker right in behind him. You hit him in stride, and the forward momentum carries him into the end zone. And Drake Maye continues to impress on the downfield passing attack.
Tyler Van Dyke close to the line of scrimmage as he throws, and it's out of bounds. Isaiah Horton, the intended receiver.
This North Carolina team is really, really good. So impressed with what they've done, but I do think at the same time, Drake Maye didn't even have his best stuff today. That's what's so crazy. I mean, he played really well, but the first half was one that you'd like to forget. And
how about his family here? We've chronicled it before. His dad played quarterback here. His brother Luke, a great basketball player here. Tonight was the 200th career game that a member of the Maye family has played in at the University of North Carolina, between his dad, his brother Luke, and his brother Bo, who's on the basketball team as well. Quite a family.
Say that is about as good as you could possibly ask for, and it's amazing how athletic that group is. It really is.
Oops. Rucker pointing, saying he was drawn off.
False start. Offense, number 73.
And he was by Maui Noah. There's Bo, who was his brother Drake's roommate. Drake tonight made it all 20 of his career starts at quarterback for North Carolina, in which he passed for at least 200 yards, with 273. He won't get to 70% completion percentage tonight. How about this? Rashard Smith behind the defense for a Miami touchdown. 54 yards. Last thing you want to do if you're Don Chapman or any of these Tar Heel defenders is let somebody get by you deep.
Yeah, and this is just a great route there by Smith. Sets him up on the slot fade. You see him hesitate, get to the outside. Chapman's kind of flat-footed there, off and outside, and he blows right by him, and Van Dyke throws a strike downfield.
So Rashard Smith, who had 6 catches all year, has 3 tonight for 90 yards and a touchdown, his second touchdown of the season. Andy Borregales the extra point. And the Canes fighting to the end, down by 10 now with 2:17.
This is a good football team too, and I know that they've had their fair share of self-inflicted mistakes tonight with multiple turnovers and some costly mistakes, but look at the rest of their schedule. I mean, obviously the Clemson game is going to be a very difficult game. I mean, Clemson's rounding into form, so next week we're going to find out what Miami's all about. Should get wins against both Virginia and NC State before they finish with a huge game at Florida State on November 11th.
Miami 4 is now number 36.
We could very easily fast forward, though, to season's end, and Miami could be sitting there going after 8-9 wins, which would be pretty decent progress in year 2 for Mario Cristobal.
Well, he said yesterday, I have a very good football team. It's going to keep getting better. They had a terrific recruiting class last year. They have another good one coming. They haven't recovered an onside kick since 2020. They'll try it again. Tried the little sky kick last time and was run down by Nesbitt. Pretty much the same alignment for North Carolina.
Going with that 2-kicker alignment here, trying to throw off the hands team to see which side they're ultimately going to kick it towards.
Will Rocha is the other kicker. He did the fake, and then Borregales kicked it. And it's handled by Tez Walker. He has something to say to the Miami sideline after the recovery. It's his night, and he's getting a huge hand as he comes back across to the North Carolina sideline.
Pretty good kick. Got the second big hop. But Tez Walker goes up, gets big, and makes the play. What a way to end it. An exclamation point on what's been a terrific night.
Team Nix, the only other Tar Heel with 3 receiving touchdowns against the top 25 opponent. Caleb Hood, who's their number 3 running back, is in now. And he gets stopped. So Duke a winner tonight at home, 24-3.
A lot of things can happen.
Orange optimism.
You always love to find the silver lining.
I am, as you know, I'm a glass is half full guy. And the length of this game, there are a few people hoping that soon the glass will be half empty. Oh boy, really, this seems a little aggressive. A little reverse to Tez Walker.
Tez Walker with the carry.
Yeah, Mac didn't win all these games by running that play at this juncture. Of course, the clock runs to under 2 minutes. 3rd down and 13. Mac Brown, by the way, is about to earn career win number 280 of his Hall of Fame career. He's already in the Hall of Fame back in 2018. Came out of retirement from coaching after 5 years in 2019. Caleb Hood dropped for a loss. Miami does have a timeout, and they'll use it. So when this one goes to 280, and it's getting a little dicier than he would like it to be, with a minute and a half to go, and now a 10-point lead, and facing 4th down, he'll tie his fellow Hall of Famer Frank Beamer. They actually went into the College Football Hall of Fame the same year, 2018, for 7th place on the all-time wins list. How about the names on that list ahead of him?
It is amazing. I mean, just to think what kind of career he's had, and just one of the most enjoyable people in college football. I mean,
he's the best.
Just a true gentleman and guy that never met someone that's an enemy. I mean, he is just universally beloved.
16 years at Texas, 15 in 2 stints here, 3 at Tulane, 1 at Appalachian State. One of 5 active head coaches to have won a national title. The only coach in FBS history with 100+ at 2 schools. But Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, Kirby Smart, Dabo Swinney, the only other active coaches who've won an FBS national championship. Of course, he has an assistant coach on his staff, the defense coordinator Gene Chizik, who won a national title as the head coach at Auburn. But a nice fall for the Chiziks. Gene's son Callie is on the Furman team, and the Paladins having a terrific year.
Great year so far. Great year. One of the top teams in the FCS, and I know Coach Chiz is so proud of Callie, and I would imagine they'll follow him into coaching at some point down the road.
They punt. McGinnis gets it off. And Smarley just kick it away from Ray Joseph. So you're saying there's a chance. I mean, with the way last week's game ended for Miami, I don't think you can say this one's over yet.
No.
Strange things can happen.
There might be some people in the desert paying close attention to this drive. Anything is possible, but if you're North Carolina, I mean, just a moment ago, stay deep. You can't let guys get behind you.
Another big night for Van Dyke against North Carolina. Last year in Miami against the Tar Heels, he threw for 496 yards. in a loss, a 3-point loss. Second most passing yards in a game in Miami history. Short gain to Restrepo. He got collared along the near sideline by Amari Gaynor, the transfer from Florida State. If you're wondering who threw the most passing yards in a game for Miami, Stephen Morris, 566 in 2012 against NC State.
Wow, I would not have guessed. Stephen Morris, of all the great quarterbacks that have come through Miami, he would not have been my guess in that stat.
A minute 20 to go. Van Dyke really didn't want to take the check down, but he had to. A.J. Allen down inbounds. The clock's running. They don't have timeouts. 6-yard gain, 3rd down and 2. One minute to go. Van Dyke into a crowd and incomplete. A little too low for Xavier Restrepo. And Van Dyke hit again. Boy, he has battled tonight. He's been whacked around like a piñata.
Yeah, he really has. And kind of drifting here on this one. Just a 3-man rush again. And as you can see, Tamari Fox hitting him as he releases the ball.
Fourth down and 2. They're at their own 32, down by 10 points. Wide receiver screen, and it works. Tyler Harrell, the first down to the 39, 7-yard gain. Desmond Evans made the tackle. Starters still in there for the Carolina defense. They know this one isn't solidly in the win column, although it's about as close as it can be. Van Dyke, Restrepo lunges, first down into North Carolina territory. 12 yards for Restrepo, and that's back-to-back double-digit reception games. He has 10 tonight. He had a career-high 12 last week against Georgia Tech. Flag down. The pass incomplete.
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, how do you size up the ACC going forward? I think most believe right now Florida State has the best team.
Yeah, I think Florida State and North Carolina have kind of separated a little bit. Louisville, after last week, thought they were very real with their performance against Notre Dame, but clearly coming back to earth tonight against Pitt. So I think those two are kind of in a league of their own, followed closely by Duke, but that's very dependent on Riley Leonard's health.
1st and 5. He goes down again. For the 3rd time, it's Kamen Rucker. One of the great pass rushers in America, the senior from Hartwell, Georgia. They think he's going to have a long career in the National Football League. 3-man rush on 2nd down. Restrepo goes down quickly. He's at the 31-yard line, but only 6 seconds to go. 20-yard gain. Last play, barring a penalty, Van Dyke down the seam and intercepted. Gio Biggers ends it. 4th Miami turnover.